Hey guys, how's it going? Well, we're here today with Adam to do a body lift on a Surf. Matt used to have a Surf previously, so he's going to take us through and show us what's done.
Yeah, I've had a few of these old puppies before. Body lifted both of them. It's pretty easy, but there's a few little traps for people that don't quite know what they're doing. So I found those out the hard way, but I know how to do it now, so it shouldn't get us on this. So we're going to try and give you a little bit of a step-by-step guide as we go. You know what's involved. It's probably one of the most common mods people do, I'd say. It's right up there. It's cheap. And it allows you to fit bigger tyres, which I think what Adam's going for here. So yeah, it should be pretty good.
Sweet guys, let's get into it and check it out.
Alright, what we're going to do first is take apart the interior, just these little bits, and there's 10 of these bolts throughout that you need to undo, and they go from the back to the front. So basically you undo them all, but leave the nuts loosely on one side, so when you jack it up to lift the blocks in, the whole body doesn't slide on the chassis. I've done that the very first time I did it. It was a nightmare. You need people to try and yank the truck to try and get the holes to line up, and it's just an abortion basically. So if you leave all the bolts on one side, it can't slide around. So we're going to get into it and undo them all now. So to get to the bolts on the inside of the cab, you have to take off the plastic strips which are held on by screws down the side so you can lift the carpet up. There's 2 bolts at the front, obviously they're symmetrical on both sides, so whatever's on this side's on the other. There's a bolt up there. There's a bolt right under the back of the seat. Over here. And then there's a bolt back here under the carpet. So you undo those, both sides, lift one side up, slip the bolts in and do the other side. Here's a little trick that a lot of people don't get, and then they have trouble when they're jacking it up with their steering afterwards. Down on the steering shaft here, there's a yoke, and it's basically, there's a 2-piece joint and they're splined. So you undo that bolt there, don't take it apart, you just let it slide. So as you jack the vehicle up, the shaft can extend, and then you do it back up after, and that'll still give you plenty of steering. Otherwise your steering angle gets all munted and hits on the firewall and you have problems when you're turning. So you've got to make sure you do that. Right, this may look like one of my normal trucks falling to pieces, but it's actually not. We took the bumper off for a reason. The bolts here at the front, hiding under half of Murawai or wherever he's been under here. There's one here, you've got to undo those. So to get to them you have to take the bumper off. Now if he's going to put it back on, or if he doesn't want the big gap under the grille and under the lights, he needs to make up some brackets that go between here and here and space the bumper up. Otherwise he's going to have a big gap like this. I don't think he's too worried about it right now, but at a later date, if he wants it to all look factory, that's what you need to do.
So Matt just put a little bit of grease on the old bolt, because the old bolts fit for the front.
These are the old bolts off the back. Use them on the front. In a minute, when I put the nut on, you can see at the bottom they're the perfect length. So there's no need to use those long ones, the aftermarket ones that stick out to about down here. Alright guys, here's something to keep in mind. We lifted this Surf by 50 mils. That's 50 mils there, the gap between the chassis and the body. If you start fitting bigger blocks, because you can get them custom made to whatever size you want, or 3-inch, which is about 75 mil. If you start going any higher than 50, a lot of the vehicle's factory, you know, play that they've got in a lot of things gets maxed out. The steering shaft gets maxed out, a lot of wiring cannot reach, the brake lines from the master down to the splitter on the chassis cannot reach, so 50mm is pretty much your as high as you realistically want to go before you start getting more costs. Like, you can go as high as you want in theory, but you're just going to have to change so much more stuff. It becomes, you know, less cost effective and doesn't really achieve much. So yeah, 50mm is good. Your handbrake will still reach, your handbrake cable, all your lines, everything, all your wiring still reaches, but if you start going any higher, you're going to run into problems.
Well guys, we've come to the end. Matt's shown us through what to do and what not to do, sort of thing. He's going to talk us through a few things to look for when doing the body lift.
Yeah, basically, when you body lift, if you're still running the stock bumpers or what have you, if you've got a bull bar made, and then you body lift after, you're going to end up with this gap here. So basically the only way to fix that is to make brackets, you know, weld them up or bolt on brackets to step the bumper up or your bull bar up if you want to do it like that, or you could just not worry about it if you don't mind it. Personally, I think it looks a little bit ugly, but it's personal preference and how, you know, how much you care about actually doing something like that. A lot of bull bars, you can buy them, aftermarket ones are optioned for a 2-inch body lift, so they'll be already made to take up this gap, so that's a good thing to look for. Another thing you need to know, this is a 2.4 diesel. I've come across it when I did my 3-litre diesel, and I've seen people do it with the 3-litre V6 Surfs. The radiator hoses can kink because the radiator is attached to the body, but the motor's attached to the chassis, and you're lifting them up, so the radiator hoses can go on some funky angles. So just keep that in mind. You might have to twist the radiator hoses or get slightly different ones. I only had to twist mine and trim them, but I've never done a V6 Surf myself, but you know, just something to keep in mind. All these principles should kind of, you know, relate to any truck you're trying to lift, you know, you name it, Safari, Land Cruiser, anything like that. The basics are the same. Just undo your bolts one side at a time. Just check for anything that may get in the way, fuel filler hose, maybe random wiring, stuff like that. Just keep it in mind when you're doing it, and it should go pretty smoothly. Did you say before, Matt, that there was probably a problem that could come up with the manuals? Yeah, I did my manual 3-litre Surf, and when I did it, because the body moved up and the hole for the gear stick, I couldn't get it into low range or first, third or fifth, which is kind of a big deal. So I had to take all the console off and get a hammer in there and smash the shit basically out of the hole so that it would go into gear. I mean, it's not a huge problem, you know, you can fix it in 30 seconds with a hammer, but it is something else to, you know, keep in mind. And for other vehicles, you know, I don't know, I've never done them, but you know, that could happen to other trucks too. Yeah. Oh well, all in all, it's gone pretty well, hasn't it? Yeah, it's pretty easy. It took the two of us, what, about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours? Maybe 2 hours, I think. You know, and that's pretty much all you have to do. It's cheap. Adam was saying he bought the whole kit with bolts and blocks for $100. That's so pretty basically, good. There's no other way you can get clearance for bigger tyres for $100 basically in a couple of hours work. You can't really come close. Even, you know, springs or anything's going to be upwards $500 if you're doing all four and stuff like that. So if you just want clearance and make your ride look a little bit tougher, it's, you know, value for money.
Definitely, yeah. Surf's looking pretty staunch now. Oh well, guys, sweet. That's been an awesome day. Glad we can help out Adam and get the guys on the road and hopefully get some bigger tyres soon. Sweet. Okay, Matt. Well, we'll shoot off. We'll catch you guys later.
See you later.
Get out of the shot, Renee, go.
Alright, so basically to get to the bolts on the inside, you have to take off this dog.
So, mate, how's the lift?
Too much, cuz, too much.
See, mate? Renee! That wasn't recorded.
I did something. Uh oh, Richard.
Oh,
I pushed it like that.
I used that some hard out times, didn't you guys? Oh. Shooting mode.
Oh, is it touch?
Yeah, touch screen, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't know it was that flash, did you?
No, I didn't realise that.
Sweet. Now we'll go. Sit down here.
Shotgun.
Sit down. You gonna say the clip? Sit down. There you go. Sit. Stay. No, use it.